Hello, everyone. I'm Greengard with Kasparovchess, and there's a special guest here, fitting the name, live from Zagreb. We need something more dramatic than whatever I was coming up with there. We have Garry Kasparov with us here today, the man, the name. How are you doing today, Garry?
Doing fine. So I was at the opening of the tournament. So I called for a minute of silence for Yuri Dokhoyan. So I thought it was very appropriate because all players knew him well. It was a big loss for not only for chess in Russia but also for the world chess. While the leading coaches and of course my longtime friend and coach for 10 years. I watched round one just to get myself acquainted with the atmosphere. So it's a great building. So it was newly built for Croatian presidency of EU that was scheduled for the first half of 2020, and you can guess, it was wasted because no real meetings. But it's a good meeting. It's the first 5G full 5G building in Zagreb. So it's a great internet, and playing conditions are excellent. For simple reason, there's almost no audience. Again, for the same reason. But we had quite a good following today, and I have to say that those who decided to join us, whether via Twitch or other channels, so they were not disappointed because that was a great start of the tournament. So it's in every round we had some excitement. Round 3 was a little bit slow, but of course for Croatia was a big day because not every day Ivan Šarić can beat Anish Giri. So and we can look at some of the games of the tournament because we had a lot of criticism at the tournaments. Now they just they are too dull, and the players are just got tired, and nobody wants to play real chess after the year of pandemic. But today's round, I think, is a refutation of all this. Today it's the 3 rounds today. They could be treated as a refutation of this very pessimistic forecasts.
Yeah, no, some exciting stuff. And your old rival and friend Vishy also back in action. His first tournament. A lot of players have been coming back a little earlier, a little tentative, a lot of online activity.
It's not a little early. So he spent 2 weeks here at quarantine.
Yeah.
Yes, as he joked, that's the 2 greatest excitement in the last 18 months for him was to go to fly to India. That was a challenge, and to fly out of India. That was a bigger challenge.
Yeah, that's quite an adventure. I know a lot of people. We were just in Paris together, and that I don't know how many tests and papers and everything, and I'm sure it was even more complicated for him. So he made it. He's there in person, and his first game is our first game of the day, and we're just going to kind of jump to the action to get to some of the exciting moments. And this was one.
You have to say that he played one Foreest.
Yes.
And one Foreest is one of the several players in the tournament who were not born when I played World Championship match against Vishy.
Ooh! we can't even do this in joking. We're too old. We might actually be having a hard problem. But still, 1995 was it so long ago?
Yeah. Yes, it was long ago. Yeah, look, the old man, did a great job. So he was very close on just losing, but he outperformed one Foreest in a very complicated position. So
this was an exciting one. Started classic.
You can tell the age looking at the way we should play the game.
That's true. Ageless chess. That's what you strive for.
And he just it was a very sharp Sicilian. Vishy started. It was the most aggressive G4. So it's amazing. Just it's not looking for any quiet positional game. So G4, and he pushed, and one Foreest played well. I mean, it's good defense, and he also created counterplay, and was very sharp position. Yeah, when Vishy pushed, his G pawn even further at one point, G6, opening the king. But it was probably not the best move. So though again, I'm not sure what machine recommends, but it's very
we'll
natural.
skip that.
It's very human, that's and just open the king, and when Foreest decided to take the pawn, and just he prepared the escape of his king. So that was a crucial moment. So when Foreest he decided to open the position on the king side, but then to bring his king in the center where the king would be protected from G8 to D7, surrounded by all the pieces and the pawn structure. And also we should not forget, Black also threatening, potential checkmate. It's because if the first check on the B1 H7 diagonal could be deadly for White's king. So and I think after knight of king F7, Van Foreest looked very, very happy, and here it comes. So
this is the shot here that I think everyone looked at it first, but
it was quite shocking because knight takes A5. You don't look at the moves, when the knight takes the pawn protected by two other pawns. But I think the move had a devastating effect on Van Foreest, because I think he collapsed. So I think the move is bad because it's losing the game.
Okay. Objectively, again, that's the thing. That's the difference between humans and computers. Objectively, you got to say not a good move.
In human chess is winning the game because the effect of the move, was shocking, and Van Foreest fairly quickly, because he had less than 3 minutes on his clock, so took on F5 with E pawn, and that's led Vichy to win nicely. But the winning move was rook H8.
Right, and this is the reply. I'll just walk through it a little more slowly so people can see. Instead of taking on instead of taking the knight, has this little intermezzo here, this Zwischenzug here coming across, not taking the knight at all.
Which is rook H8, and now if White goes knight H6, for instance, then simply rook takes H6, queen takes H6, and then bishop D3 check, sacrificing the bishop, and then queen C2, and then rook A8 mate. So that's exactly what I told. So the combined threats on B1 H7 diagonal and A file, that's a classical mating net. Now Vichy wanted to play knight D6 check. After rook H8, and then bishop takes D6, E D6, and now again it's intermezzo, bishop D3 check. Rook takes D3, rook takes H2, and White just had nothing better than the lost endgame.
Right. And
so that could be sort of a beautiful win for Van Foreest. So he missed it, and again, you can hardly blame him. I'm sure he's nervous, and he did well, but knight takes A5, took him off the balance.
Right, that's the thing. You're under so much pressure. We've often talked about that. That again, you're not going to play if your opponent has to play perfectly under time pressure. More often than not, taking those risks is going to pay off, and certainly did.
And then I think he took on F5 with E pawn, queen H7 check, king D6, queen takes D6 check, and then maybe you looked for rook F6 here, the move rook F6, and it looks good because if E takes F6, then the same combination, bishop D3, queen C2, rook A8 mate.
Right.
Yeah, but the quiet move queen G2, yes, ends the game. So no threats. Queen simply goes to G2, and Black is lost.
There's no place to go. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. That covers everything. Yeah.
That covers.
Okay,
everything.
Lovely. So back in the game.
Imagine if White pawn was on G2, just one extra piece. The whole position could have very different evaluation.
Right.
But no pawn on G2. Square is vacant, and queen G2 is winning. So he played bishop F6, but then Vichy simply played bishop C3. He killed all these threats, and it ended up with the endgame that Vichy won comfortably.
Yeah, this is one of those funny positions where that bishop he just leaves that bishop sitting there on F6 for quite a while. But okay, we can skip.
Call it sitting bishop or sitting duck.
Yeah, we can probably skip through this one, but to get to the others. But a nice win again. It's nice to see Vichy back at the board, of course, and in action. Not so nice for Van Foreest, but still. And he's I haven't been following his results lately, but I was looking at his rating. It's come up quite well. He's no longer quite as young as during his great, coming out party there when he had his great result. So the problem is you keep thinking last year, but nothing was last year, basically. It's always, 2 years. But in this case, let's see, what was that? January? It was January, right?
Yeah,
so
January, you won Vikandze, yes?
Yeah. So that was actually
January 2020.
Yes, it was last year in this rare case. So normally
probably
you say
stopped
last
counting.
year.
It was nearly 18 months ago.
Right.
Actually, 18 months ago. Yes.
In the before times.
Yes. Before COVID, BC. It's yes, before COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
So good start for Vichy. We had a couple other decisive games in the first round.
Yeah. There was good games. I mean, Mamedyarov won a good game against MVL. Just quite opening, but just gradually build a very strong attack. Nepomniachtchi was in trouble at one point against Korobov, but he created, chances. He kept creating chances, and at one point Korobov collapsed. Right. He had a very good position, but he couldn't keep up under the pressure. This is the Nepomniachtchi attack succeeded. And the Giri, it's the game that we probably should mention is Grishu Giri. Giri spent 30 seconds just to show the moves that he had recorded on his computer, but it's a phenomenal line. It's this very long line, and it's it's a perfect chess. So it's a draw by repetition, with so many combinations that were on board, and some of them left behind because you couldn't have every line on display. But this is what you should know about modern analysis.
Wow. That's just the whole thing. Was you just seen it at home, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is and Gary spent I don't know, because he ended up with 28 minutes on his clock, so that's why he was adding time.
Right.
Yeah. And the second round was interesting. So there was a big game in the second round, Nepomniachtchi Mamedyarov, and because you should remember Mamedyarov won the first Grand Chess Tour event in Bucharest, so the classical one. So and he missed Paris. He didn't play in Paris. So Paris was won by Wesley Zhou, and Nepomniachtchi is playing as a wild card because he asked permission to actually skip classical tournaments because he wanted to be better prepared for the World Championship match. And we just decided that it was reasonable request, and he played in Paris. He played well, but here Mamedyarov Nepomniachtchi, that was a game decide I wouldn't say decided the tournament, but it's two clear favorites met. Right. So the opening went well for Mamedyarov because Jan did know well this system. It's a very tricky system that he played in King's Indian. Was just preparing this advance on the queen side, and at one point, White, seemed White was in great trouble, and here it came, So he just realized that anything halfway will not work, and he went on just to sacrificing the piece. And by the way, we have to be just objective. So receiving a very good compensation for that. So we can probably look at the game when he played. He played after b4. He played e5, and b takes e3, knight takes e3. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and show that piece sacrifice coming up here.
b4 because it seems that White position is collapsing because if knight goes, then it's a stake on e4, and it's terrible. But e5. Right. B takes c3 and knight takes c3. Yeah, and and now all of a sudden, just White is dominating, though, but piece is a piece. So, but Mamedyarov didn't find the right way to locate his pieces. So it was.
So, but it's just as an objective, again, you said a piece is a piece, but come on, you would take this position with White in a heartbeat. I have to believe that. No, this is. In rapid.
In rapid, rapid tough. Probably is, yes, but I don't know. Yes, probably I'm trying to analyze it. Yes, so that's looks like the white has tremendous compensation. So and dominant position, the center. So I mean the question is what to do with the knight on EF6.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because you're just constantly looking for a way to maybe give back material to break this bind, to break this attack, and that's the way he finished, the game. He actually, again, Mamedyarov didn't play necessarily poorly. He held on for quite a while.
But let's knight H5, yes.
Yeah. So we can go ahead and run through it. Yeah, knight H5.
90.
I didn't want to get into.
Yeah.
And you could have played that earlier, I guess, instead of knight H5. But
what?
No, just the.
What?
I was looking at it earlier with the computer, but it's not really that clear even then.
What?
Whether or not you can, there's any sort of intermezzo there.
Bishop of 8, queen d2, yes. Yeah. Bishop of 8, queen d2, knight h5. That's another option.
Yeah. Well, because what was it? Yeah. I guess it's bishop of 8, queen d2, knight h5, g4. Yeah. Try to get the knight to g7 or something, but it still happens in the game. All right, so let me just go ahead and move along. Right.
Yeah.
And because this just looks so overwhelming.
Yeah. Rook d1, knight d5. Yes, that's the.
Yeah, this is the move that really looks like the culprit. I mean, as far again, this is I think very difficult to hold for any human, but especially against Nepomniachtchi. But F6 is where all the computers go, all the red lights flashing danger and all that. So it's again very hard.
What to do? I mean, how to defend?
Right.
So
I mean,
Mamedyarov
bishop b7, bishop e7, bishop b7. It's just
that's for machines,
Right.
Humans,
exactly.
Mamedyarov tried to create some counterplay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And got smashed. F6.
Yep. Yeah. He's just trying to give himself a little fighting chance because just sitting there passively, again, that's not something a human can do. A computer has no shame, it has no emotions, feeling depression of what's going on with the position.
But F6 is a good natural move. So
yeah. Okay, so F6, Rook AD1 was also thought was nice.
F5, F5,
and then F5.
No, white dominates, completely. So that's the.
Yeah. And now it's
bishop g5 is a killer.
Yeah, very hard to come up with anything at this point. So now he's just trying to bail out, give him queen some running room.
Bishop b7, bishop, yes.
Yeah. e5, all very forced stuff. Another.
Rook f1,
yeah.
Yeah.
F1 takes. He tries to get the
king
h8 out of range.
F6, knight d6, F7. So attack is so fast. F7, Rook d8, and now knight b6.
Crunch.
Yes.
Again, deflecting the knight on d7 away from the f6 square.
Yeah. That's the knight b6, bishop f6, and that's bishop g7, queen takes d8.
Mm-hmm.
Queen takes, bishop takes d8. Bishop takes g2, king takes g2. Yeah, material is almost equal. You have if you look technically, so it's two light pieces for rook and a pawn. But this is not just about material. This is about black pieces being totally discoordinated, and pawn on f7 is still very strong, and so and black pieces have no knight on b6 is horrible. So it's Mamedyarov desperately tried to bring this knight back in the game. So if light pieces have protected positions, like if you just move miraculously knight from b6 to d4, then black is okay.
Right.
But that's probably you'll be disqualified for making a legal move. Yeah. So otherwise, Mamedyarov played knight f8, but this is then it's the bishop f7, knight rook d6.
Yeah. Now it's just the domination increases.
And then he just got this pawn, rook e1, just kill this pawn. And that's the he left. He thought he could give up this pawn on f7 because now he got a pawn. Now this is very important. He got a pawn, and all he needs now is just to exchange rooks, and then a pawn is unstoppable. So, and after king g8, rook a7, so he prepared this exchange of the rooks.
Right.
Knight f6, you know, it's this check, and then
in a quick check,
and then rook b7.
Right.
Key knight e4, and now nice little combination after knight e4. So he still played rook b8. Rook b8, knight takes, rook takes, knight takes. For a moment, black has material advantage. Rook a8, and this one knight is lost, and then just, you know, and the two light pieces, they cannot stop a pawn.
Right. And this is the thing, yeah, like you're saying, nominally, and you had to see this position coming, because nominally, materially, you might, you know, at first glance, but okay, the a pawn is just too much.
Yeah.
Right. And that is, I think, only went a few more moves from here.
Yeah. And
okay, here we go, and that's it. Oh, okay. Well, that ends it even quicker, I guess. Yeah. Oops.
And another game, so I would mention, I think that's interesting game, it's MVL Vishy Anand.
Okay, let's get to our key.
That was a big theoretical duel, and
I was gonna say I wasn't sure where to even start this, because so much of it had been played before. But
I know. This is, I was surprised that Vishy decided to compete with MVL in his opening theory, because this is something that MVL definitely analyzed before his before the candidate doing his preparation, and now the modern analysis with all these powerful computers, they're phenomenal.
Right.
So as I already mentioned, game Giri. And I think that this is MVL made so many moves. I would say, and you know, until c5. So I'm sure it all was prepared. And I don't know whether black can save game or not, but I don't know why Vishy decided just to play the position that, you know, where the draw was just a dream result.
Right. Right. I mean,
so there's so many other options, you know, to play against e5. Yeah, I'm not saying they're just good or bad. I didn't see any point of making this competition, because MVL played very quickly, and he felt very comfortable, and Vishy desperately tried to find some chance in the end game, but it's very quickly the end game with extra pawn became an end game without a pawn. Just, you know, to bring his rook from h8 back to life, he had to sacrifice a pawn, and MVL won quite comfortably.
Yeah, I mean, this is the position here, and we don't need to, you know, it doesn't really merit, as you said, a lot of analysis. This endgame is just terrible for black, but it was played before, and the move here after rook d8 was, I think Shirov actually played rook bd2 here to get that d pawn, but MVL, as you were saying, was playing quickly, had an improvement ready to go, and bang.
The position looks so dangerous.
Yeah,
C5,
and then the C5 it just explodes everything. I mean,
yeah, it's you know,
bishop
white,
is open.
Yeah, you have two extra pawns, but it's because, you know, big rook goes on b7, then, you know, king eventually, you know, just standing on f8, and this is in couple of moves Vishy had no choice but to give up his pawns back. So we see b takes c5, rook b7. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's tough. And
rook b7. Knight e7, bishop b5 check.
I think he grabbed the pawn first, and then now
rook h6. Yes, he's king f8. Yes, king f8.
I like that one too. I like that f4 as well. Just holding on to the key material.
Yeah,
and then homing in on f7. Just nobody would go into this on purpose. I think he was just following along with something he seen, and then just c5.
Yeah,
because I think black lost the game even in the previous one, but
but f4 was an important move, because, you know, taking on f4 would be rook f1, yes, and that's, you know, it's the it seems that, you know, that's the he couldn't you know take the pawn,
right?
So he had to go back with again all preparation.
That's a little terrifying. I mean, really, and honestly, in honor of Yuri, to talk about this deep preparation, something that, you know, the joke was always that, you know, someone who would have some deep preparation, and then they'd go to your board, and it would be 5 moves longer or 8 moves longer, and they go, oh, that's the deep preparation. And this is something now where it's, you know, again, with the computers that they're using, especially, it's going even deeper, even further, more precise, all the way into these end games. We're seeing it pretty much every round. There's an example of it.
Yeah. So Vishy played, he played d3 because otherwise rook bb7 would be killer. So just to push the bishop away from diagonal. But now he takes on d3. He cannot take because of the mate. And after knight c6, he goes back on a3 with the rook. Yeah, and after rook e6, he didn't take on f5. He just went after c5 pawn. Yeah, and that's rook c1. And it's White has an extra pawn, and again we should put heroic defense. So he just he desperately tried to just get some endgame. So but it's not good enough. So he
nice little flourish. So he doesn't even take the knight.
No, he doesn't. Yes, you want his pawns to be protected.
Right.
So we take king f3, and it looks like the end game. It's always rook's end game always have chances.
Sure.
Yeah, and if Black had a pawn on e6 instead of f5, maybe they had better chances. Maybe still probably lost. But now it's very bad because this is f7 pawn will be target, and then e pawn is an advance. So it's because rook on the third rank, it does several functions. It protects pawn on a3. It covers the king from checks. It protects pawn on g3, which protects other pawns, and it also cuts black king. So the rook is just it's a multiplier. And of course MVL pushed a pawn, cut the black king, and Vishy resigned.
All right, let's get there. Go ahead and wrap that one up here. And this is a good chance. While I'm waiting we'll take a few questions, and I'm waiting for folks in the chat here to share a few questions. I wanted to let them know as well, verbally, in case they're not reading the chat, to go ahead if they have a couple quick questions for Garry Kasparov, who a lot of them, of course, are going to be about you playing some chess yourself here. We're going to put you at the board here in a few days in the Blitz, so that's going to be exciting. How are you feeling?
I'm warning my fans in Croatia beyond Croatian border that they should not hold their breath. I'm retired. I still remember how to move the pieces, but I have no high expectations. So these days I'm much better in organizing tournaments than playing chess. So as I said in the opening ceremony, if I could be half as good as chess players and an organizer, so that will probably do well. So and now that's with Šarić beating Garry. So I'm yes, I hope that I can do as well as Šarić.
People are going to be like, maybe we shouldn't put in this Kasparov guy. Šarić is doing great. Maybe it's just
maybe this is but since the tournament in Zagreb becomes traditional, so that's right. We need stronger Croatian players. So just to line up.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting stuff. Also, while we were looking at the end game here, I've been prompted by the powers that be to mention when I said we were in Paris, I didn't explain why, and we were there so Garry could record his master class, which will be coming in as long as the editing and everything goes apace. Will be coming out in September at Kasparovchess, and that was some hectic days. We basically put 2 weeks worth of shooting that all got canceled last year. We tried to cram it all into 1 week there. 4 days, really.
4 days, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Yes.
And that was wild, but we got in just about a little of everything. Some great game analysis from some of your all-time greatest games, some end games, some compositions and puzzles, some openings, and some general chat. I think that people will like.
We just didn't want to repeat the old masterclass, so we wanted to do something fresh, something new, and also to give an introduction to many masterclasses, the lessons that were recorded by our great ambassadors for Kasparov chess.
And that, honestly, I have not had time to look at them myself. And when we were preparing these introductions that you were doing to these things, I was astounded at how much incredible material is already up at Kasparovchess, these video lessons. Because I had, we're going through this list, this Excel sheet, and just, tactics, just every tactical thing.
Yes, we keep adding. So that's this. It's education and entertainment. So those are our signatures.
Right. So that's something that, again, folks out there, if you haven't checked those out, check them out now. And coming in September will be Garry Kasparov's very personal, a lot of fresh stuff coming in that masterclass in September. So let me see what we got here. We got some questions. Boy, I guess we're not going to run out of material. Have you been playing? Have you been playing online? Have you been playing to get ready for this blitz, or have you been actually getting some in person? Have you had a chance to play over the board to get ready for this?
No, I just unfortunately my preparation is online, so I should remember how to press the clock. So that's yeah, because that's I remember when just when I played once in St. Louis, so I just I had to remember that there's no mouse. So
yeah, reaching over for the mouse.
Reaching over for the mouse, yes. Online, yes, I just have few friends. Okay, Peter Swindler, so that's one that just I've been working with. So we exercise, but I have to say that I always do much better, in training games than real competitions. I don't know why.
It's tough. I mean, and that's an interesting point. Why do you think? I mean,
always,
is that just the pressure,
I meant
or
these days?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not 25 years ago. No, these days it's probably a pressure, and yeah, maybe I've been relaxed, and then just it's the stage and this all the this is the atmosphere. It probably puts extra pressure, and yeah, I unfortunately I blunder, a bit too often. Yeah. Hope again, if I avoid immediate blunders, maybe it will not be that bad.
Right. Well, you said last time, I remember when you popped back up, for a brief show in St. Louis, and it says it's about the consistency. This is the thing. It's not like the chess knowledge is, somehow evaporated.
No,
you get these incredible positions against Caruana, against world's top players. You get this amazing position, and then there'd be this, blind spot, or you get into time trouble.
Yes, but since it's not 960 and real chess, so it's right. Still challenging because they keep working regularly, so they have practice. This is, and I used to play sharp openings. Don't forget. So, and this is I didn't play like Karpov. Something that you can play the Queen's Gambit Classic, and you can just do it. And this is without any risk of missing the theoretical novels. I played neither King Cinder and Grunfeld, so just sharp openings. Yeah. And I don't have time to keep up. So because there's so much new. I mean, I'm now trying to get myself ready and just look at the games about, oh my God, so this is amazing. They do so much work, and between recording a message for Iranian dissidents and working, just on an article for the Wall Street Journal. So I just have to refresh my memories, just not my memories actually, refresh my knowledge of the openings that might happen, because again, playing sharp openings means that you have to be ready for some surprises.
Well, one of the things we like is that you don't avoid them. I mean, we know that
I'm good to have fun, so that's just I may have too many wounds, maybe bleeding, but I'll definitely make few players cry.
Yeah, that's the thing. Pick your shots there. Last question here before we wrap this up, and again, we'll be back tomorrow with Garry Kasparov, so you have a whole day to come up with some more questions for him. Back recapping at the same time here, 8 o'clock Central European time. That is 2 o'clock Eastern time, and the round same times tomorrow for rounds 4, 5, and 6 tomorrow at Kasparov Chess. That's starting. I think the show starts a little early at 2:50 CET. With Yasser Seirawan and Maurice Ashley. Always tremendous fun to watch them do their analysis. And then Garry and I will be back. So last one here about your old Vishy, again, the other veteran back in the field, but playing the rapid and doing fairly well today, got to say. Again, not perhaps, really ready, still warming up the engines. A couple questions here. I'm guessing from an Indian fan. I'm going to go out on a limb and take that wild guess that do you think he's still in contention for the World Championship?
No, I don't want to upset you guys, but he's 6 years younger than me, and that tells you a lot. So he's in his 50s, and he's still he enjoys playing chess, but. These days, chess is a game for young. So
it's tough.
It's tough, yes, it's tough. And look, he had his great days, and he fought Magnus, and it was quite heroic effort. So he was. It's in this, after losing one match, he even came back, and won won candidates and just came back to challenge Magnus again. And it's again, it was a good, very brave attempt, considering that he is what 21 years older than Magnus. I mean, that's
yeah. Okay, we'll squeeze in this last one. See if you can come up with one off the top of your head. A favorite historical chess game, not a Kasparov game. Maybe pick one of the ones from the master class, but those are all yours.
Ooh,
give him something to look up here. Come on, give him some fun before we shut down.
One favorite. I mean, wow, this is I look. You're asking someone who wrote the book on my great predecessors, and there's so many of them.
Many. I got to show you. I'll bring them down. I've got them right here on my shelf.
Yeah, I don't know. This is as a kid, I was always mesmerized by the Anderson Immortal and Evergreen games. So this is I would say I was even more impressed by his game against Dufresne. With this is rook takes e7, queen takes d7. This is the way that he mated him. So that was quite an impression. So that's more than a Kizaritsky game. So I think that was Immortal, yes, or Evergreen. I'm always missing. Which one was Immortal? Which one was Evergreen? Yeah,
the Duke and the Opera. That's
that Duke Opera. That's for I'm talking about I would say Anderson Dufresne. Yeah, and also this is this is, my God, this is so many games. I just I look at every champion and I just remember the games that is just that stayed in my memory, and I just could be very, very, unfortunately could be a very, very, very long list. But let's start with either Immortal or Evergreen again. But Anderson Dufresne, and also it's an amazing game. Because it's probably more appropriate because I think it's in 1895. Steinitz was also 57. So this is the game he played in tournament. It's the I think it was 85. It's against Bardeleben, yes, with the rook take in Italian. Rook takes e7, and then just the rook was just untouchable rook. Yeah, it's the Steinitz game. So that's I think Steinitz Bardeleben, yes. So that was about my age. So that's probably I should pick up this game.
Aha! The ulterior motives there.
Yeah, ulterior motive. Yes.
There's the I'll paste that one into the chat in case anybody wants to look up games by players, great games by players over 50, a whole new masterclass. All right, thank you so much for joining us there from Zagreb, Garry, and for coming back tomorrow. Hope we have another exciting day of chess.
No doubt. I'm sure they will not disappoint us.
All right, everyone, thank you for joining us. I'm sorry if we didn't get to all your questions. We'll try. You can see the standings right there. World Championship challenger Nepomniachtchi is in the lead. Hoping to hold on to that tomorrow. Again, round tomorrow live broadcast starts at kasparovchess.com at 2:50 CET with Yasser Seirawan and Maurice Ashley. And hope to see you there, and hope to see you right back here on this channel at Twitch tomorrow for Kasparov Chess. Thank you, everyone. Bye, Garry.
Goodbye.